Hello and welcome to the In the Money Players podcast, In the Money Media YouTube channel. This is our show brought to you by twinspires.com because Twin Spires have a contest on Kentucky Derby Day. They do have one on Kentucky Derby Day. I'll tell you that in a minute. Tell you about that in a minute. But on Tampa Bay Derby Day, they've got a contest where Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge seats will be on the line, cash as well. We wanted to bring in somebody to give you some real insight, institutional insight into Tampa Bay. Over the years, there's one man whose name rises to the top of that list with a bullet. You know, past performances are no guarantee of future results, but I will say that the man did once give you a $100 winner. I can't remember if it was Tampa Bay Derby or Sam F. Davis, but that King Guillermo or something, the horse Victor Martinez, he was given out right on this show by the man I'm about to introduce. He's also not only a successful bettor, but successful owner in his own right. We're going to talk to him a bit about that. Rich Averill, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Things are good. I'm correct about that, right? About the $100 winner you gave out on these airwaves?
Yeah, I think it was like the 11 horse. It was the Derby, Tampa Derby. So, yeah, I gave a couple out of that race, but I said make sure you have this horse and all your stuff, and it won. So it was a fun day for sure.
Always nice when we get to feel smart for a minute. Horse racing often doesn't let it last longer than a minute, but that's why I like to relish when we've got good things happening to us and the people who come on these airwaves, and that's certainly been the case with you and your stable lately. Give us an overview of what's been going on.
Everything. It was kind of a little bit of a slow winter up to this point, and we're getting rolling now. So I had Harrow, who won the Barbados Gold Cup. He came back maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. He had a little setback, a little minor injury, so we gave him some time, and he's doing good now. And then last weekend I had My Miss Mo run second in the I believe the Devona Dale. It was grade 2 for Into the Oaks. So she's got, I think she's 14th or 13th on the list for Oaks, Kentucky Oaks. So that's exciting. She's going to run back in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. And then we got the big filly, Our Disaster, in, well, maybe she's a mare now, but we got her in Saturday at Gulfstream in the grade 3. So we're excited. Going to go to OBS, buy some horses next week, and try to keep the ball rolling.
Let's pause for a minute on the Barbados Gold Cup. What an experience that must have been. And then, did they let you keep that giant trophy I saw you waving around in the winter?
Yeah, it is. It's there. It's right here. It's in the office. So.
Other people, go grab it. We can wait a minute. I've embarrassed him, folks, but it's video. It's a visual medium, so if you're watching on YouTube, you'll appreciate this. If you're listening on the audio side, this is why you got to watch on YouTube. Look at it's bigger.
Thing's bigger than me. It's a solid gold.
Bigger than his head.
It is unbelievable. So yeah,
that's awesome.
You drink the champagne out of the top at breakfast, and it's people go over there not for the money. I think I lost money on the trip and won the race. So.
But it's supposed to be a great experience. I've talked to Sappy Joseph about it, and it's on my bucket list of places to go. How would you just recommend it as a racing experience?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's packed. So if you don't have like credentials or anything like that, I'm not gonna lie. When I was there, we got there. It was just wall. We had we were in like this little suite. We were just like tickets of somebody's friend or whatever, and it was like a little hot, and I was like, but then as the day got on, have a couple cocktails, you start feeling better, and then honestly, like, I really didn't know how big of a deal it was. So like, when we won, it was just like news outlets are like wanting, for their night news, they want to, interview you, and then they want to talk to you about, how big a deal it is. And honestly, I didn't do any research or anything. We thought we had a chance, but I just didn't know how big of a deal it was. Then the president comes down and hands out the trophy, and then it's like it was wild. And then you're all over every news outlet, every TV, everything. I mean, checking in at Delta when we left the next day, it was like, oh, you're the guy that won it. Like, it was just
amazing.
Yeah. And then the next day, I will say so the next day after the race, Sunday at Sandy Lane, they have a brunch. And I know you're a big, eater, so you love your food. I mean, it's expensive, but it is the greatest display of food I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
And anybody can go. It's not just the people that were involved or whatever, but they bring the trophy there. They put on the table. That's where you drink the champagne out of it, and it's an unbelievable thing. And I mean, they have full pigs, turkey, you name it, sushi, everything, and it is just the greatest food display. Not only just brunch, like anything I've ever seen. I've been to a lot of different places.
Yeah.
I mean, it is awesome, and that's the Sunday after. So it's quite the experience.
Here's the plan. You'll go back next year, defend your title. I'll sneak in with your luggage or something. I'll crash, and we'll eat that. We'll eat a couple of roast pigs on Sunday after you defend your title. What do you think?
We're in trouble because the race is this Saturday. So I decided not to go back. So because I didn't. My horse only had one prep. And I just. It would have been a long shot. So
you can do it. You can do a DeHaas thing. You can have a year in between, and we'll do it next year.
No, I mean it's definitely. I mean it's just expensive. It's really expensive. Like the hotels. I mean it is not cheap around there. It's their time to make some. It's just like anything else, Derby,
like the Derby or whatever. I mean, people, there's a market for it, and we're capitalists. We charge what the market will bear. I mean, I'm okay with it, but you're right. You got to know what you're getting into. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming, though I really did enjoy that tangent. I'm not going to lie. We'll talk about this Tampa card. We're mainly going to focus on the late part of the card, but I did want to ask you, because this race is in the Twin Spires contest. To learn more about that program, by the way, go over to twinspires.com. Just navigate to the tournaments tab. And we've seen this trend from a lot of people of being very aggressive on short price favorites. Matt Miller might get some credit for this with the success he's had in the contest world of, not overcomplicating things. There's a horse, it's going to win. I'm going to bet my bankroll on the horse. There's a few of these horses in the early part of the card, and I just wanted to get your opinions about them. Let's start off in race number 3. At Tampa on Saturday. What do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, some of these early races look very, very chalky, and I agree. Race 3, I mean, you got horse Mystic Lake. The horses won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of last 6. Way bigger competition. I happen to know that I know the owner that owns most of this. We have some horses together, but their plan is to run here. Then they're going to go to Keeneland. So, I don't think there's any way, besides something happening out of the gate, I don't think there's anything stopping Mystic Lake from winning. But your whole bankroll, are you going to put your whole bankroll on? This horse is going to be 1 to 2 or less.
Right. So,
last time the horse was 3 to 5. And there was a nice horse in there that Diane Alvarado had that missed the break. Or Miss Bachero, I think the name of the horse was Miss Bachero or something. But that horse is not in here. I don't see anything in here that could compete with Mystic Lake. So I think Mystic Lake is just the cinch in that race. And then, the very next race you got Disco Time, who was the favorite in the Pegasus World Cup. Now is running at Tampa. Now, that horse, kind of spit it up last time. But even its bad races, I still can, probably even the race that the horse ran last time, I think that,
right,
that the horse would still win. So, I don't know. That horse looks, pretty tough. If it shows anything, then like it did in the Dwyer or, in the St. Louis Derby. There's just that horse is just one of the top older horses, around. So
yeah. somebody may consider just, maybe you're right. Maybe if you think the risk reward isn't there on the 1 to 2 of betting the 5 to win in race 3, and yeah, Miss Bucaro was that horse that missed the break last time. You got that exactly right. Maybe a double though with Mystic Lake and Disco Time, the 2-runner in race 4 is a strategy. Again, we're not putting these out here as selections, but we're sponsored by a tournament platform. We're talking about some potential tournament strategies. We're going to get some more interesting runners for traditional betting.
The only other horse I think that might have a chance in the race 4 is the 1. But it's that horse just won. That was a Florida Derby horse, Disruptor, and the horse was off and then did come back and run over Tampa. And as I've said a million times, I like horses that run over the track, and then come back. But that horse just won an A other than, so you're going from A other than to a grade 3. That's a big step. So, I always like to say, if Disco Time ran in an A other than, how would that horse do? You know what I mean? When Disco Time was on the lead in the Pegasus, there wasn't A other than horses behind it. There was all like graded stakes, grade 1, all those, the best horses in the country were breathing down that horse's neck. So, if Disco Time shows up, it's a wrap. And that's your early double in that. And I don't know. I'm gonna probably single those 2 if I play the early stuff. If not, then just move on, because you have to you have to take a stand, or you have to just leave the race alone.
Let's talk about this 5th race that anchors the early pick 5, where you might be able to get real skinny in those legs. I know you had a thought about this one.
Yeah. So in the 5th race, it's what are the A other than? Yeah. These are the races where like Chad comes in, and who else to show up? Chad's shipping in. He's the only one. Chad's got 2 in the race. So I thought in my gimmicks, you got to use probably both Chad horses, but they got the 3 7 to 5 morning line. I kind of liked the other one. I like the 3. Sorry, I like the 3 over the 5. The 5 is coming out of, and I didn't see the morning line, but the 5 is coming out of, some stakes race 2 back, came back, ran at Saratoga. I just thought that the 3 would be more forwardly placed on, in the race, and that that the 5 would be flying late. The only other horse that I thought had a chance in the race was the 8. I thought the 8 at a little bit of a price. Derek Ryan, he claimed this horse for 16, 3 back. This horse came, has been closing late, and then maybe had a little bit of trouble last time. But I thought that this horse, could if the pace did get hot, maybe potentially outkick the other Chad Brown horse. But I think that the 3 is going to be right there close, and he's probably going to get the jump on everyone else. But I thought that the 8 could come pick up some pieces. I like the jockey change too. I like Sammy Camacho. He's usually one of the leading riders there, and Sonny Leone and Castanon. Castanon's seen better days. He's just here and there, and then Leone, he's okay, but I think Camacho rides that turf course at Tampa as good as anybody. So I like the positive jockey change on that horse too.
If I made you pick an order of the 8, 5, and 3, how would you rank them?
I'll probably go 3, 8, 5.
Okay.
I would go
3, 8, and 5. Yeah, it feels like maybe you could lock that up and try to go on with life. But I like your point about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't see anything. That's a complete. I think that's an exacta too. You could do 3, and hope the 8 runs. If it runs 3, 5 or 5, 3, you probably break even or lose money. But if you get the 8 in there, you're gonna make some money.
Yeah, and maybe you try to weight the combos a little. Try to have that one a little bit more. Let's move on.
Yep.
We got another stake race at the listed level with the Columbia coming up in race 7. Anything here?
No. Race 6, I thought the 8 was the lock. This horse is coming out of the Pelican, lost to Concrete Glory. I think if you have bankroll and you just want to just double it up, or you probably won't double it up, but you might 3 to 5. Hope to get 3 to 5 on that. But race 6, the 8's a lock.
Silver Slugger. Leave the 7th alone, or is there any spready types to maybe pair in a double with Silver Slugger?
The 7th race, the 7th race, I liked. I thought there was 3 horses. The 2, I thought the 2, and I like the 8, the David Fox horse. I like that horse a little bit. Okay. Anytime a horse can win first time out, going 2 turns and long, I just think that's a big deal. And this horse did that. And that's not something typically like David Fox really does. He's not really like he's not a trainer that that runs. I don't think he runs a lot on the grass long and period. And he's usually a little bit better second time out. So this horse won first time out. I thought Beautiful War, the 8 in the 7th race, that horse had a chance to be right there.
I get that horse completely. A couple other things. I mean, Fox just generally going pretty well right now in terms of having a good year. And also, that was a fast pace in that race, and the horse was pretty close to it. I think you got to respect that effort, and almost has to improve. I really like your case on the 8. You mentioned the 2 in passing. Is that one you might want to back up with there?
Yeah, the 2's coming out of big races. I think the 2 is going to be on the lead. So I've seen these races in these days. Whoever's close to the lead. Sometimes, Johnny V could just put him to sleep. But I thought the 2. I probably would play in that race 2, 3, 5, 8. I'm going to bet the 8. I don't really like the 5, but it's one of those things where you throw them in just because you don't want to get beat. I thought the 3 was interesting. I watched a workout. The 3 worked against Deterministic last time, so that's for them to put that horse in that company. I believe he's a great winner.
He sure is. Yeah, a heck of a horse. 8, the top pick though, just because of the value, or do you want me to put him down in the order that you mentioned?
Yeah, I think 2 or 8 would be my 2. Like if I had to press, I would probably equally press 2 and 8. I think 2 is loose, and then I think the 8 could be potentially a good horse.
3 and 5 more as backups. What about the 9th that kicks off the late pick? 5, 3-year-old filly Maiden. Anything in here, or are you going to wait for the stakes?
The 9th. Oh, you mean the 8th? Isn't that 3-year-old Maiden?
Yeah, do you have anything in the 8? We don't need to do the 8, but if you had anything, I'd definitely mention it.
I'm going to take a shot with the 10. I'm going to take a shot with the 10 in that race. So you got guys like Delgado in here. You got Chad Brown shipping one in. Who knows? Chad could be a monster, but you don't know anything about it. But the 10 is ran in 2 stakes races as maidens. So you take those races out. The horse ran second, third, and maiden races. The horse is going to probably be on the lead. He's got an outside post. Didn't have Lasix last time. Now he gets Lasix, or she gets Lasix. I think the 10 is definitely worth a shot.
Yeah, I buy it. Any to go with, or just stand alone there?
No, I don't really have any opinion. I'm just, you can look at the board. Chad's going to be favored. Chad's 9-5, and not this time. Wouldn't be running here, but it's a big day, so shipping over with everybody. 3 Chimneys owns it, so not this time. It's a $250,000 stud fee. So he's running. He's
no joke.
The 10's a Instagram who stands for what, $5,000, $10,000, and shipping in from Ocala. So I second time over the track for the 10. I thought the 10 has a big chance. The horse is probably going to be 6-7 to 1 and going to be on the lead. So come get me.
I like the point you made there. People don't often think about class when you're looking, at least newer horse players don't think about class the way that industry people do when looking at a field of first-time starters. But you can see from the stud fees, etc., who, not always, but in theory anyway, is going to have more class and thus a huge advantage in a race like that, right?
There's also class as far as running against, you're running against class.
Yep.
This 10 horse, it's proof. Let's run the horse in a stakes race, 5th. Oh, let's run the horse in a stakes race, 8th. Well, you're a maiden. Your maiden race is second, third. So when the horse is in a maiden race, she doesn't have to go as fast early on to maintain that pace to finish. in a stakes race, the horses are faster. So in order to be, more forwardly paced, you have to push hard. You have to push harder, quicker, and you don't have anything left. And that's the case. Now, eventually they get better and improve, and they can go faster, but this horse is just not there yet.
Let's get on to the stakes portion of the card that begins with the Grade 2 Hillsboro on the turf. Who do you like in here?
Hillsboro. In this race, I am going to try to beat the 4. I'm a little bit of a play against on the 4. The 4 is weaved through traffic, got, way back and got up 2 times in a row. I'm not sure.
Very lucky last time, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen, especially Tampa's a little bit shorter of a stretch. So I liked the 6. That's probably my best bet is the 6. That's Chad's horse. One of the longer ones. I think does he have 2 in here? No, that's just the only one he has in here. Yeah. I like Chad's horse here. This horse hadn't ran since 2024. Came back in a prep, finished second. Obviously probably needed the race. I mean, anything you
would think that was prep for some stakes effort, and he might have even, the way he runs his operation, may have even had this race in mind, right?
Right. So I thought that Chad is the 1.
So decision is him too. Yeah.
I like the 2 Chad horses in this race. So I thought I'm going to use both of those, but if I was to bet, I was going to bet the longer one. So
yeah, 6-1, take it to the hoop. Hopefully, let's talk Florida Oaks here. Grade 3 action. Who's your idea, the winner of this one?
So this race, I have a pretty good opinion on. I really like Beckman's horse, the 9, Cocomotion. I was there that day. I happened to have my annual party at Tampa that day. We had about 100 people there. Jason Worth owns that horse with his Icon operation. They going in, they didn't really know, and they kind of only ran the horse there just because we were supposed to run Our Disaster that day. He was supposed to run horse Hulkamania that's running in the Derby.
I think
he's supposed to run Nikon in the Suncoast, and they just wanted a horse run that day. And I mean, this horse was last by a lot and circled the field, was wide, and then opened up. Like there's so many angles with this horse that I like. I mean, I said it earlier, first time out, running long 2 turns to win is a big deal. It did that. Making a move like that, like I call blow pop, like you go early and just blow pop around the outside. It did that. And then to have something at the end, it did that. And then when do you see, I don't care any kind of turf race, a horse winning by 6. So, I mean, either that was just really, this is a really nice filly, it was really, really impressive, or it was a turd field. And I'm going to go with, that not all horses show something in the morning, and they maybe this horse has never even been on the turf. So I think this horse is this is who I am going to be betting. So I mean,
come on, baby, do the Cocomotion for Rich. There's been only one run back from the race, and the horse ran well. Inkling, the Godolphin horse, ran a 62 buyer on the dirt second out. I mean, let's put it this way. I don't think that she was beating trees. I think there was probably some horses who were okay in there.
And that was Sam Davis Day. So, I mean, I don't remember who was in the race, but I mean, I guarantee you there was a Fletcher and a Chad and a Cassie or, Shug or some. I mean, there had to be some horses in the race. So, I mean,
Chad had Libero, a horse called Libero. Miguel Clement had a horse in there, Skywatcher. The big favorite was another Chad called Tax Holiday. I think this was a live field, and I think you're onto something with this one. Do you have any to go with her, or is this another where you just kind of want to see where Cocomotion gets you?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably. I mean, you have to use the 7. The 7 was one of the the better fillies last year going long. I mean, she was 4-1 in the Breeders' Cup in her last race.
Right.
I mean,
and she was cold on the board at 4-1. You know, she was a lot of people's pick in that race.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll probably use the 4 in that race, and then the 9. I mean, obviously the 9 is who I'm going to be betting. You know, I would try to find somebody with some early pace. You know, I always like to have somebody that's, you know, kind of maybe out there, and, you know, maybe the one could be, you know, one's probably got to go from the inside, but she doesn't look good enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
9 is the main, and then, you know, for backups, maybe the 7 is a backup for sure, and then maybe the 1 for a penny. It sounds like.
I don't think the 1. Maybe the 4, the other Cassie horse. That horse is 20-1. And 4's coming out of sprint races. So Candy Ride out of an unbridled song mare. I mean, this is running against Canadian breds, but still, like, this horse looks like
Canadian breds. That's not crazy.
It's like a phony Canadian bred. You know, it's probably born there, but then raised in Kentucky. But
yeah, I'll tell you what, the Dam ran well on the turf. Casey's Dreamin' ran. I don't think of Unbridled Song as turf, but the Dam ran well on it. The siblings have done great turf sprinting. 5 of 13 winners, only 1 of 17. The siblings going long, but that's enough turf pedigree at 20-1 on the morning line to include. So I like that.
There's no doubt this horse is going to be on the lead. Like, there's no doubt that, you know, unless they don't want it and he wants the 1 to be on the lead. But I think there's no doubt that the 4. And I wasn't saying Unbridled Song as far as like turf. I'm just saying as far as distance. So that's all I was saying. Candy Ride and Unbridled Song. You know, I think that the horse could, you know, is bred to stretch.
Yeah, you're absolutely talking me into throwing this horse in, even though I do think that the main one we want to focus on there is Coca Motion, not just because the name is so much fun to say. Shall we continue on to the race that gives the day its name, my friend? Tampa Bay Derby. I've got a full write-up of this one over at theraces.com. You can also find that in our free In the Money newsletter, in themoneypodcast.com/email for that. I ended up being master of the obvious here and making the case for Canaletto. I had a goofy case for Thunder Buck, the 7, as an underneath runner, but I want to know from you, who is going to win this race?
Oh, that's a good question.
Head scratcher for you? No strong opinion?
No, actually, I do have a pretty good opinion on this race. So you're going to go with Chad, the 9. So I thought, I mean, when you said obvious horse, I think 6 is going to be the favorite. Further Ado is going to be the favorite, no?
Yes, 6. Yes. And my only knock on him, and we talked about this on another show, is for a horse that like would have been on everybody's top 10 Derby list to start the year based on that 98 figure and the winning the Kentucky Jockey Club in slow, albeit in very slow time. He's just been so like, and with top connections and top blood, he's just been so under the radar. Like it's been so a spendthrift, you know, big profile owner. It's just everything's been so quiet about him. I was willing to give him the race and let me show me who he is. I don't not like him. If he wins, nobody's going to be surprised. But I just didn't latch on to him. That's all. Yeah,
I mean, this horse is probably had the points already, so they're just taking their time, I guess. This one probably ran later on. You got to think this horse ran at Churchill late, so when everyone else starts, so they all have these theories of like, we need to give them enough time for this, and then we need to bring them back for this and that. So like they're not starting as early as everybody else because this horse didn't run in the Breeders' Cup. So they already got some points already from last year, and they're only going to do 2 preps and be done. And maybe, who knows, if they win this race, they might they might even just do this prep and then be done. Probably not, probably run in the Brewgrass, but that's probably why like the other ones have started already and they're getting, they're getting going earlier than that. I will use the horse, but I'm going to take a shot with the 5 Power Shift.
I get it. I wrote nice things about the horse, but I'll let you make the case.
So I was there. That was the same day that I was there, and there was buzz at the track on this horse and also the Chad Brown horse,
Emerging Mark,
but the one that beat this horse. So I happened to bet on the Chad horse. And I won, and it was great and this and that. But I don't think I had the best horse. As good as Irad is, I think he got caught sleeping there. So if you watch the race, the 5 power shift was, basically on the lead, or, right on, where it could have gotten the lead at any point. I can't quite remember if he was sitting just off another horse or whatever, but
he was third, about 2 back in the middle part of the race, but wide. I mean, he rode him like he was on a horse that couldn't lose, which I think was his what he was thinking and what he'd been told.
Yeah, I think it was Pratt. I think that was on Chad's horse, but he made an aggressive move.
Correct.
And went just got in front, over the top, and then they were battling all of that. And it's just, when you get the momentum and you go by and you get in front, it is so and then Irad started riding to get to that point, and then they were ding donging down. He just, in my opinion, he got caught sleeping. If he is not being cute and just opens up and or whatever, steals her heart, I think the horse runs a bigger number, and I think the horse wins and whatever. So I'm hoping, because the horse is a maiden and ran second, that I'll get more value. The number, the speed number came back huge. And as you know, I like horses that have run over the track. So
big angle.
This is there. Rapoli was there that day. I'm sure Rapoli's going to be here this day. So I'm going to go with Power Shift. I really think that, I hate the dog Irad, but I think he gave the horse a bad ride. I think he got caught sleeping. It's got a trip over the track. It has a huge number, and has a huge number of recent. So like you said, when with further ado, no buzz. The numbers were last year. Sometimes they don't always come back. That's
they might need it, and they'll come back sometimes, and they might need it sometimes. I mean, there's a lot to question if he's going to be fit.
Sometimes you send them to a farm just to be a horse, and you know what? They come back wanting to just be a horse.
I get Power Shift completely. That race was so fast. I think you're making an excellent point about the ride. And yeah, I mean, look, from a jockey's point of view, it's a maiden race. They've been told they're sitting on the fastest horse of the world. They're not expecting another horse that can run a 98 buyer. I'm not trying to full on just make a defense of. I'm not saying Irad didn't necessarily make a mistake, but it's what you're saying sounds absolutely fair, is what I'm trying to say. And there is a lot of buzz on this horse, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's shorter than that 7-2 in the morning line. What did you make of Canaletto? I'll tell you what I liked. I love a horse that shows that early foot that he did, settles, and then finishes again. That kind of making 2 moves on debut, I swear, when I see that pattern, they feels like they routinely improve. And if he improves, he could be right there with these other horses, if not ahead of them.
No, for sure. I definitely like the 9. I think that horse, never even got asked to run. I just think it was all, and that's one of those things where it's Pratt just opened up, and then he opened up, and then whatever. So the only thing he just, when the 9 gets looked in the eye, or has some competition, or or feels the whip for the first time, maybe ever, how will they respond?
How will he react?
It's
fair.
The 5 got that. 5 got whipped down the stretch. 5 got looked in the eye, whatever. Who knows? We'll see if the horse that beat him. I guarantee that horse running in a Derby prep somewhere next. So, yeah, I would say that horse is probably my second choice. I'm going to go 4 deep in this race. I'm going to go more I'm going to go 3 deep on all my stuff. King Power Shift, and then I will have further ado in the 9 Chad's horse. But the one horse that I thought that had a chance to be in the mix is also the Puma, number 8. These guys are always trying. these guys are, these are the mage guys. They're
Ramiro and the team. Yep, we've had them on.
So they're looking, they're looking for this. This horse always takes money. And the horse ran in the horse ran in the Sam Davis. The horse ran third in the Sam Davis last time. So again, trip over the track, whatever, has some value. The Puma, and then the horse's numbers are not bad. So
no, he's right there on. I mean, it's so funny to see a stake race where you have two maidens that really shouldn't be much over 4-1, and I could see yours. I could see Power Shift being like I could see him vying for favoritism depending on what the vibes around the various horses at the top of the market are. It's going to be great. We're going to get major Kentucky Derby clues. I've kept you way over time. I know you got a tea time. You got all kinds of things going on, but I do have to ask if you have a thought in this nightcap, because that's going to probably be the race that determines this damn contest. So feel free to punt, but if you've got anything you like in there, even if you just read us numbers, do that, and I'll let you get out of here.
Chad has two horses I have no idea about. I did have a little bit of opinion. I thought that the two would be okay, is worth a play in the last. Tom Proctor's horse. Very, very good breeding. It's a Glen Hill farm homebred. Tom has been a really, really good trainer for a long, long time at Tampa. This horse doesn't have to ship, comes out of its own stall, sits right there. Second start. Tom's a little bit better with the second start. And you know what? The horse did not run awful at Saratoga as a 2-year-old. So, that horse ran a decent number. I love, you look at numbers to numbers, 2-year-old numbers compared to 3-year-old numbers. I think horses really, really improve. The numbers get really, really big. So I think that I'm going to use the 2 and the 2 Chads just to have, that's it. I think so. Mott is going to take money. He's the 10. He ran a 65 last time. I think that the 2 is going to run. 2 ran mid 50s as a 2-year-old. I think that horse is going to definitely run over a 65, and I think that's what Mott's horse is. So I think that the only 2 horses that could potentially beat the 2 would be the 2 Chad, firsters. So I'll go 3 deep in the 2.
Love it. 2, 8, and 11 to close things out. Rich, you are the best. Thank you, and thank you for the great stories of Barbados and the extra time. We'll check in with you again really soon, and we wish you all the best. Appreciate you, man.
Yep, thanks.
Thanks one more time to Rich. Thanks to our friends over at twinspires.com. This show's been a production of In the Money Media. May you win all your photos.